You go ahead, say it now.
You in the grill pit, bitch.
One time, like this. For those who hop and make your one nigga straight loony after taking
who was accepted as a god in Europe long before the birth of Christ, accepted quite a few Africans as deities. Imhotep, this great African who was the world's first multi-genius.
This is self-injurious your prison lawyer. I want to welcome you to the Grill Pit. Thank you, doctor, for that introduction. I couldn't have said it any better myself. And this is self-injurious your prison lawyer. And this topic that I'm going over right now is kind of, I feel some type of way about it. And I understand it extremely well. So recently there's been an increase in suicides in state prisons. And a lot of that suicide increase has been based on the fact that they've said that they don't have guards. Okay, I feel you on that from that standpoint, they don't have guards. But the fact that they don't have guards, now the inmates are experiencing a lot more time in their cells. You gotta understand that you're spending 23 hours in the bathroom on a regular basis, which makes no sense. So now we had a recent death in Stillwater. I think in Lionel Lakes, the gentleman he had been let out and killed himself thereafter. Rush City, the facts of the matter is I don't have all the facts, so I just know that there's been, in the last maybe couple of months, we've experienced three suicides. And the suicides, as you know, have not been, the reason why I'm doing this is because suicides have not made TV at all. You know, we're reaching out to the family members and would like to know more from the family members about what's going on, but the DLC is good at covering this up. Like anything to do with negative press or they're going to be put under scrutiny, they cover it up. But we know about how jail and prison being two different things. Really, jail's county, prison is you've been sentenced, you're going to the big house. So we understand those two things are different. But prison and jail affects individuals not at the same level, but you still have that depression and you still have a high suicide rates. I would say local jails being higher than state prisons and feds, but I mean, that's here nor there. We understand that right now the increase is more because I've talked to people in prison on a regular basis and they talk to me about not being able to get out of their cells. They talk to me about them still using COVID, you know, because we don't know. We're done with COVID, but like when I went back to the joint, even after that CO was murdered, they were still on lockdown and people didn't know. You know, I assumed that everybody was off lockdown until I got to Stillwater and saw that they were still on lockdown. They still hadn't received showers. They still wasn't going to the yard. They were still getting their food in their cells. So we're talking about suicide now. And why is it so? Why is this conversation so important? With that said,
because from 2001 to 2019, the number of suicides
just a few
increased
facts
85%
on
in
prison,
61% in federal
proof
prison,
facts on suicide. So I'm not getting into the names of the individuals who committed suicide because it hasn't been cleared by the family, and the DOC has done a great job of sweeping it underneath the rug. We don't even know. SF Mo, you're in a grill pit, my man Ron B wasn't on the job reporting this, it'd be still swept underneath the rug. That's why they don't want us to have any type of they don't want to give us a platform. They don't want to give us views. They don't want people watching us because we're talking about the real. And I told you, I'm not here to tap dance. I'm not here to sing to you. I'm not here to tell jokes. I'm here to give it to you raw. And if I can't give it to you raw, I'm not going to give it to you all. This is Mo, your prison lawyer. So let's just talk about some facts. From 2001 to 2019, the number of suicides increased 85% in state prisons, 61% in federal prisons, and 13% in local jails. We don't talk about this. Everybody wants to talk about mental illness, but suicide and mental illness it goes in prison, go hand in hand in my mind, because take an individual who's never experienced supposedly mental illness, going to prison and being stuck in those cells. You understand? You know, being told, or being told what to do, when you can eat, when you can see your family, if you can you can hug your wife, you can kiss your wife, and if you do certain things, you'll be further incarcerated, even further incarcerated, put in jail type. You know what I'm saying? Why does that doesn't even make sense, but that's what they tell you. So my conversation about mental illness, everybody wants to talk about their mental illness, but nobody wants to connect the dots, because when you connect the dots in prison, you start talking about prison, you have to talk about prison. Nobody wants to talk about prison, right? They want to shop at Target, boycott Target, boycott Target, boycott Target, right? During 2010 to 2019, suffocations, including hanging and self-strangulation, accounted for nearly 90% of suicide deaths in local jails. Again, from 2010 to 2019, 9 years, the time that I was locked up, suffocation, including hanging and self-strangulation, accounted for nearly 90%. You know how horrible suicide, strangulation is horrible, but self-strangulation is horrible. You don't die right away because your neck doesn't break. You sit there and fight for your life until you die. Okay, with that said, during 2015 to 2019, about 12% of deaths by suicide in local jails occurred within the first 24 hours, not the first 48, the first 24 hours of incarceration, a decrease from almost 22% during 2000 or 2004. The average suicide rate for white males in local jails is 93 per 100,000 during 5-year period from 2015 to 2019, which is 5 times the rate for black inmates. It's 18% per 100,000, and more than 3 times the rate for Hispanic inmates at 26 per 100,000. These are just numbers, and these numbers come straight from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. I don't really believe in the feds and their numbers, because it's always, they got some BS with them, but I'm using them. You know what I'm saying? This giving us a general guideline to understanding what's going on in prison, and building up to a bigger conversation, right? Building to a bigger conversation. The reason I'm putting this out there, because now we're getting it. It's no secret that American jails and prisons are among the most dangerous and overcrowded in the world. But the news of former NFLer Aaron Hernandez's suicide in prisons highlight a recent overlooked trend in incarceration facilities nationwide. It's sad that his death had to be the death that caused us to take a look at something that's obviously going on, but his death did make them take a look at what was going on. However, and this document goes over Massachusetts and their situation with incarceration. So back to Minnesota with the 3 deaths. Makes you want to think, like, damn, SAFMO. Every time we listen to it, that's why we don't listen to you, SAFMO. So every time we listen to you, you bring us bad news. We don't like it raw. We like it with sugar and spices and everything nice. So, because I told you this was very near and dear to my heart in this conversation, and I want to just, before I even get into my solution to the problem, I want to tell you the DOC solution to the problem was to pay out bonuses for individuals to work. $10,000, $5,000 bonuses for individuals to work for the DOC, so they can continue to incarcerate individuals. And, you know, maybe if they let them out the yard, it'd be less suicides, whatever. Whatever they're thinking. I don't know what their concept of why they're so bent on continue. I understand why they're so bent on incarcerating individuals, because they want to line their pockets and mind their slavery, but they speak so convincingly about change, yet and still we can see every time there's an avenue to make a change, they refuse to, right? And here's the avenue. And we don't even have to make a change, folks. Right now, all they have to do, this goes out to you, Paul Snell, and out to you, Governor Waltz, and out to you, my buddy Keith Ellison. To y'all, you understand? It's easy for you to make a change. And it's not even a change you have to make. You just got to follow your damn policies. You have a policy in Minnesota statutes 2021 that says that was statute 244.065. 244.065. Private employment of inmates or specialized programming for pregnant inmates or state correctional institutions and community. It's your statute that you don't use unless it benefits you. But right now, instead of you utilizing the statute to alleviate your overcrowding and maybe cut down on some of your suicides, what do you plan on doing? Hire more correctional guards to fill your pockets. So subdivision 1 is called work, and we're just gonna call this the work release statute. It's for individuals who are pregnant, and it's for individuals who have done a percentage of their time, 50% of their time, now you're eligible for parole. What they usually do in cases when it comes to work release is there's a couple of different ways that they keep individuals from utilizing work release. First is custody level. So say if I had come down in my time and under their their policy, I was eligible to go to work release. What they would do is say if I was in Oak Park Heights or I was in Stillwater, and even if I was in Faribault, I went from supermax to high to medium. And my custody points weren't low enough for me to go to minimum, which minimum is every time I say a level, it's a different area of the fence. You're behind a wall, fence. It's Stillwater. Oak Park Heights, you're under the ground. So a minimum, you're there's no fence. You're on the opposite side of the fence, right? But in order for you to get to that particular point, you have to be you have to be convicted of a crime that allows you to be on the other side of the fence, and you have to get to the other side of the fence, meaning your custody status has to fall. How that works, a mathematician couldn't even figure it out. I guess they pick and choose and how they want to do it. So with that being said, I'm going to read this statute to you, subdivision 1. Again, this is 244.065. We're going to call it the work release statute. Work, period. When consistent with the public, with public interest and public safety. So they start off right away making it this situation where they can renege on their promise by putting this duality in it, this limiter in it, and because public safety or public interest, put in the interest of justice, is just a blanket bullshit ass clause that they just pull so they can just deny you based on whatever. So you can make all the requirements, but they can say your crime that you did 15 years ago in the interest of public safety, we're not going to let you go. Public interest, we're not going to let you go to work release, even though you qualify for it because your Jimmy DeRiggs score says you can't go. So that's just how they come up with shit. The Commissioner of Corrections, I'm continuing it after public safety. The Commissioner of Correction may conditionally release an inmate to work at paid employment, seek employment, or participate in vocational training or education as provided in Section 2441.26 if the inmate has served at least half of his term of imprisonment. Half. So what problem do you have? What problem do you have? It says right in your policy that the individual only has to serve half. But you put in so many different I wouldn't say caveats, but these different mechanisms so an individual can't even get to that, but then you complain about overcrowding problem. So let's just put this out to the public. I know how many employers out there can use people who are willing to work, who are dedicated to work, who are skilled to work. So SAFMO, when I was in still out of prison, I wrote for the paper prior to them shipping me down to Faribault on some BS. And when I worked for the paper, they had a career day, and we went to go cover the career day. And at the career day was the state of Minnesota. The state of Minnesota was there because the state of Minnesota deals with skilled labor. So I wanted to have a conversation with the state of Minnesota about, just because I'm a tradesman. I have trades. I have a mechanical aptitude. So I was just curious, like, I mean, a motherfucker spends 15, 20 years in prison and works as a welder for that long. He should be a master welder. And most of them are master welders. So I was just curious as how does an individual work around electricity, or does things as an electrician, or works underneath the electrician, and he doesn't get hours. So the gentleman explained it to me. He basically, would not wanting to throw individuals underneath the rug, said it has a lot to do with administration of DLC and MNCOR. MNCOR being a private institution, MNCOR being private, but being private only because now we don't know really what's going on. There's really no transparency in MNCOR, and they're forcing individuals to work for a little bit of nothing. But you ask yourself, why? The gentleman told me, you got to think about it. If a guy's been working as a welder for 15 years, and he's a master welder, he's making uppers $40-some an hour as a master welder. And if he's in a union, which he would be in a union because he had clocked his hours, then whoever he was welding for would have to pay him that money. And if they had to pay him that money and they didn't pay him that money, they would be in trouble through the state of Minnesota. They would have been able, they have all the rights to strike, all the rights to healthcare, benefits, everything. Could you imagine how different the DLC would look if they're paying individuals $50 an hour based on their skill level, not based on anything else, but a gentleman has been welding for 15 years in a DLC. So now you can understand how important MNCOR is, not only to suppressing labor and controlling workforce, but also to the fact of increasing profits for those individuals who are involved. So now I challenge you to chase the money. And when you chase the money, you might find old Paul Snell, or Keith Ellison, or Waltz, his cousin, somebody part of MNCOR, because that's how they do things around there. And that's why it's so important for them not to let people out. And what does it say? I'm not a great reader, and I'm not that smart, but it says if an inmate has served at least 1/2 of the term of imprisonment, he should be eligible for these programs. And they're so big on people following the law, and people are so much like, this is where people have to go and accept your crime, accept what you have to do. But these people don't even do what they're supposed to do. And that's sad. So, I mean, if you feel like I feel, I say reach out and touch somebody. Let me know what time it is. Comment. You know what I'm saying? Let's reach out and talk to this governor. Let's talk to this commissioner. Let's talk to this AG and ask them, why are you so bent on sending people to prison because they don't follow law when you don't have to? And I guess at the end of the day, I mean, the question I'm asking, maybe they want somebody to call them on their bullshit, so they have to put up a shut up. So I'm calling you on your bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm telling you, you need to follow the law. I'm telling you that you're complaining about, you want to give these people $10,000 to come work for you. $5,000. No, nobody want to work for your goofy ass, bullshit ass, criminal justice bullshit. You understand? Don't nobody want to do that dumb ass job. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? So why are you forcing individuals to do it? Because all you have to do is take that money, the $100,000 you got, the $200,000 you got, and provide housing for individuals as they come out, so they can come out. Provide incentive programs for individuals who've been out who want to establish housing, good, humane housing, not just housing, because we know about slumlords. They'll tell you about slumlords all day long. Oh, but so slum. They'll tell you about slumlords all day long. But good, humane housing for individuals. Individuals who want set up grants for individuals who want to buy housing, because y'all don't want to provide housing. Like y'all don't want to provide jobs for individuals, but I would provide jobs for a felon and help them out. But y'all don't want to. You understand? Or make it difficult for an individual. Once you use that $5,000 or $10,000 to help people get into housing, so they can provide housing for individuals coming out, so we can reclaim our city. They can reclaim this city. I'm not claiming this city. They can reclaim North Minneapolis, because they should be able to reclaim North Minneapolis. They should be able to go back into that community that they destroyed and repair it and make it whole, because you guys stripped it with this Target bullshit, boycott Target, with this criminal justice, and with lining your pockets. So, again, if anybody wants to, I know I did a lot tonight. If anybody wants to call me on my bullshit. Get in my comment box. Holla at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared to back up what I say. You know what I'm saying? But call them on their bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all they doing is continue modern day slavery and not giving people a way out and lying about it. And it is what it is. Just like I told you when I did the whole Target demo. You know what I'm saying? Stop being part and partial to having these people lock individuals up with your money. Because that's what they're doing. And the same way here. This is your money. So instead of them utilizing it to provide grants and monies to individuals who come out, who have the wherewithal or the knowledge to establish some form of a sober house, or a halfway house, they continue to rely on these scumbag individuals to continue to provide housing and send people back and be controllers of people's liberties and lives. And that's sickening. I mean, it's sickening. It's SF from all your prison lawyer. SF from all your prison lawyer. I'm not a clown. I don't sing, I don't dance. I'm not gonna rap to you. And I don't have any jokes for you. This is criminal justice. It's SAF mode. And I'm gonna give it to you raw, and I'm gonna give it to you all. Shout out to my man Ron B. In the middle. Does a lot and do a little. And that's what the middle does. Man, Ron B in the middle does a lot and does a little. It's my man. Shout out to all those individuals. Like I said, that whole $100,000, whole million individuals, we need just you watching us, supporting us, got in our back, sharing, retweeting. Retweet this. Target, retweet Target. Let's get Target out the map. Let's make the DOC stand on what they say. You know what I'm saying? Follow us, support us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're doing stuff for the community. We're in the community. We in the streets. We don't talk about it. We be about it. And that's AF Moore, your prison lawyer. And I'm out. Peace.
I just see you snatching him up off the... So what? So what's going on then?
You're stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house, you steal something.
Nah, man. What, is that, a bag of chips? So y'all treat me like a whole cold-blooded fucking killer?
Keep walking, dude. You don't even know what you're
Keep
talking
walking. I know what I just came up and see. I know the fuck I just came up and see.
Okay, what did you see?
I see y'all snatching him up the back like you're a fucking grown-ass man. Ain't he saying it wasn't him? What is y'all doing?
Crazy. How old is he? 10 years
What is y'all talking about, man?
That's against the law.
What is y'all doing?
You cannot put that...
What is y'all doing? Take the fucking chips. If he stole some chips, I'll pay for him. I'll pay for him. You don't even know where he lives.
Our distinguished guest, he is more than a scholar, he's more than a lecturer, he's more than an activist, he is a legend, a living legend amongst our people. He is one of the elders of the African community. He has given his life to study as well as teaching our people about their great past and the prospects for an even greater future. He is a man whose presentation of history
baby, I like it.
It's penetrating and powerful, and he has a way of bringing history alive. And I think that those of you that have heard him before, and those of you that are going to hear him tonight, know that his...
Chad, you're Ron. What do you got to say about SAF Mo saying white MFers?
I don't give a fuck what anybody says, because it's America and you should be able to do and say what the fuck you want. God bless America.